Good morning. Welcome to the Swiss Show. I'm your host, Ryan Tuckwood, and today I'm excited to welcome someone that I know is going to bring energy, knowledge, I'm sure a little bit of humor, and most importantly, some absolute truth bombs to this podcast. Brad Lea is a leading authority in web-based training. He's experienced and proven in sales marketing. A seasoned professional with a strong base of sales management coming from 25 years, I do believe, in the automotive industry. He's a thought leader and has been instrumental in helping guide some of today's most effective and productive sales professionals worldwide. And when we talk about those names, you'll know exactly who I'm on about. I have a feeling it will be pretty dynamic, maybe even a little bit controversial as well. He is the founder of and CEO of Lightspeed VT. He's revolutionized the online training world, and he's currently doing the same for us with our Swiss Academy, and has really set what is known as the gold standard in how training is delivered, tracked, reported to ensure maximum performance, accountability, retention, and results. Brad, my friend, welcome to the show, mate. How are you?
Man, if I was any better, I'd be you.
I absolutely love that, mate. That was the formal intro. Which is obviously one that you've probably heard many, many times. Tell us about the real Brad. Tell us about a little bit about your background for people that maybe are listening to this in Australia, so my side of the world where I am right now, that might not have heard of you just yet. Who is Brad Lea?
You know, Brad Lea is just a normal guy that, I say kind of, paid attention and got lucky. Ultimately, I dropped out of school when I was 16. I got raised by a blue collar family, but I was always kind of savvy, kind of paying attention, quick, I guess you would say. I noticed things. And so, when I was 16, I ended up being pressured by everybody in my family to get a real job. Well, I went and got a real job, and it was hard labor, working in the forest, getting poked in the eye. It was just a bullshit job. So I learned real quick that I didn't like hard work. And now we get told that hard work is necessary. I disagree, but I'm defining hard work by blisters on your hands, sore back. I hated it. And I'm like, there has to be better than this crap. I'm getting decent money, but I'm busting my ass and I don't like it. So I went and opened up a newspaper and found a job selling cars. And so I see this ad in the paper. And so I go apply, and I got to wear a suit and cologne and work with a pen. And, customers were coming to see me. There was no climbing up and down mountains, getting ashes and, poison oak. And plus they gave me a car to drive. So I'm thinking, holy shit, this sales game is where it's at. Now, it happened to be cars. You said 25 years in the automotive space. I didn't spend, I was in the automotive business from maybe 18 to about 30. Then I invented Lightspeed. Now I spent another couple years, because 5 years after I started this company, it wasn't making any money. And I had to go back to the car business to get a job to pay my company's bills so it didn't go out of business. So I went back 1 year and made like 450,000 and just fed my business. And then I realized that if I don't focus on my business, it'll go away, and the car business would always be there. So I basically quit again and focused on my business, which is Lightspeed. So now, I have a couple 100,000 followers and growing, because I kind of like tell you like it is, and I keep it pretty simple. But what I'm saying, a lot of people don't know, and it blows my mind, because it's not rocket science. I think just the way I'm saying it is causing light bulbs to turn on.
Yeah.
When it comes to sales and closing, or when it comes to life and business. Like, at the end of the day, I'm 51 years old. I've lived probably 3 lifetimes compared to most people. I got kicked out of my house when I was 16, so I dropped out of school. I was running around the country. I've been everywhere, and I've seen everything, it seems. So I got a little experience, and now I guess I'm the CEO of a tech company, which, go figure, that does 8 figures a year. I get, all my clients are the big name brands and trainers that you've heard of: Tony Robbins, Zig Ziglar, or not Zig anymore, but his family, Grant Cardone, Damon John, Ryan Tuckwood. And I would have said Tuckwood, but you pronounced it Tuckwood.
Tuckwood, yeah. It's just my accent.
Yeah. I almost got a guy that you guys are familiar with, old Shane Warne.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
trying to get him to do a cricket VT.
Yeah. Wow.
You know, so now I'm a tech company or a CEO, you know, just trying to live my mission, which is to get the knowledge from the people who have it to the people who need it, so we can live in a world where success is normal.
Yeah. I love that. I did a 10-hour 1-day sales intensive yesterday, and I referenced that line that you just used there. I said I've been working with you, and your phrase was that to get the knowledge from the people that have it to the people that need it, because that really stood out from the first time that we spoke. And they said, so you're like the Robin Hood of sales. Like you steal the knowledge from the people that have got it and you give it to the people that need it. And then somebody actually went away and made a little meme with my head on Robin Hood thing, saying the Robin Hood of sales. But I guess that's your mantra that I took, or Robin Hood of education initially. But
no, because I'm not stealing it from people. I'm showing them how to generate millions of dollars of recurring revenue per month, because you can leverage the technology to put your knowledge in, and then sell it to businesses and individuals all over the world to help them become better. So I don't steal it from the people that have it. I make a deal with the people that have it, and then we make deals with people that need it, and we put them together. And what happens is the whole, you know, everybody wins.
And where did that
Robin Hood would steal from the rich and give to the poor.
That's true. That's true. So where does that education passion come from then? Because there was a lesson in there. You said after 5 years of your business, you said it wasn't making money, so you went back to the automotive industry. What was there a crossroads for you where you went, okay, well maybe I just don't know enough about business or the tech industry, or what happened there?
No, dude, I was just way ahead of my time. I mean, I started the online learning space. You know, I had full motion interactive training system 20 years ago.
Yeah, wow.
Right. Internet just came out, and I was training online. So the world just wasn't ready for it. Nobody believed that it would work. As good as a salesperson I was, and again, you know, I closed business, and you know, we stayed in business, but it got to a point where it wasn't enough to like expand and grow and do R&D and things like that. So at the end of the day, man, I think we were just ahead of our time. Yeah. And the reason why I'm passionate about getting the knowledge to the right people is because I think people fail because they don't have the right information. There's people getting divorces because they don't know how to communicate, right? Or whatever. They might not know how to make love. They might not know how to keep their eyes to themselves. Like they don't know respect. Whatever it is, they weren't parented correctly because their parents didn't know something. There's kids dropping out of high school. There's underage people getting pregnant, right? And making mistakes. Why is everybody, not everybody, but why are people in these situations? Why are businesses going out of business?
Yeah.
You think they want to go out of business, Ryan? No, they go out of business because they don't know how to close a deal. They don't know how to train and lead a team. They don't know how to find financing. They don't know how to generate leads. They don't know how to do something. That's why they fail. Well, do you realize that there's somebody in this world that is already killing the game in that industry? So like school was the old version. You would go to school and get a degree. Why? Because people would want degrees to hire people to give them opportunities. Now, you don't need to listen to a professor that read a bunch of books. You can go right to the son of a bitch who built the billion-dollar company and learn exactly what they did. You go to the people that have closed deals. Like I said, I close the people that teach you to close. See what I'm saying? Like I'm closing the closers. If I sell you Lightspeed, Ryan, I sold the sales trainer.
Yeah.
So I'm the guy that closes the guy that teaches you to close.
Nice. I love it. And so, and there's no bias there, right? It doesn't have. It's not all sales training. You've got
no
education, right? So it's just education in general is the passion to get to those people.
Well, dude, our platform, what we developed was kind of developed for one reason. I went out on the road to teach sales and closing. That was the skill that I chose to teach people.
Yeah.
I used to work at a company and I'd produce top salespeople out of people that were working at Burger King. They were flipping hamburgers, landscapers, hard laborers. And by the way, you know, you ever heard work hard, you'll get rich. Work hard. That's all you got to do. Dude, think about it. The hardest working individuals are the brokest.
Yeah.
Who's working harder? The guy digging the ditch or the guy paying the guy digging the ditch? Or the girl? So at the end of the day, you don't have to work hard to make the money. You do have to work smart, however. So when I was working at this organization, I saw this person in the back. He was the hardest working dude in the whole place, but he made the least amount of money. He was minimum wage. He was a lot porter. The guys that wash the cars and jump the batteries and move the cars and do all the real more harder work. Because by the way, that's not necessarily hard work either. Hard work to me is like digging ditches, putting out forest fires, hard work. But nonetheless, I felt bad for him. And I was really good at grabbing people, landscapers, just people with no sales ability whatsoever, and just turn them into really good salespeople. And then I could take really good salespeople and turn them into better ones. And I could take regular people and turn them into great leaders and managers and motivators. And I got really, really good at it. So that's when I decided that I wanted to go out on the road, because I saw a guy making minimum wage. I said, man, let me help you. I want to help you make more money, live a better life. Come on up here in sales and I'm going to teach you. Within 3 months, man, I saw his whole life change. His wife was happier. His kids were happier. They came in with nicer clothes. Okay. They felt better about themselves. People always want to talk shit about money, but guess what? Let me tell you something. I've never seen money make things worse, right? So if you're unhappy with money, you'd be unhappy without money. Okay. Money's not what makes you unhappy. So again, I totally disagree with people that think that.
Yeah.
I've always saw money improve people's situations. So when I saw this guy's situation improve, I said, I'm going to quit my job here at the dealership and I'm going to go start training people how to close and sell. So I started a company where I charged $10,000 to show up for a day and train all your salespeople. So I would go in there and I would train people. But after about 3 months, it wasn't working very well. And I couldn't figure out what I changed. Like I used to be able to do it all the time, like in my sleep, and now it wasn't working very well. So I did a little research and I found 4 key ingredients. Now these key ingredients have to be present if you're actually going to train somebody. Number 1, you have to have good content. Okay. If you don't know how to do it right in the first place, there's a problem. So you have to have good content. You have to have repetition. Okay. We learn through repetition. You have to have repetition, you have to have practice, and you have to have accountability. Most companies, if you think, how are they training their people? They got the good content, but there's no repetition. There's no practice. There's no accountability. They don't do it enough, so it doesn't stick. So ultimately, I discovered this. So I said, hey, I have to either try to fix this or quit doing this. So I thought up, what if I could do this online and I could give the repetition and yada, yada, yada. So I invented the Lightspeed system, found someone who could build it, and basically built this Lightspeed system. And I put my training in it and it started working again. Everybody was freaking starting to pop. And so I got excited and everything. And then I hit a wall. I got to a point where people were telling me they used Tony Robbins or they used Grant Cardone or they used Joe Verdi or all these other trainers that had way bigger names than I did. And then, quite frankly, I got tired of arguing that, oh, I'm better. Oh, you got to, you're going to like my ways better. Number 1, my ways and their ways were similar, right? I mean, there's certain ways to sell. The question is how are people explaining it and does it resonate with you? I literally could take exactly what you teach and I'll teach it, and you teach what I teach, and then ask people that love what I said who's better. They'll be like, Brad. And you'll be saying what I said and I'll be saying what you said, and they'll say me. Why? Because for some reason they like me, and vice versa will happen to you. Your fans or your students will say that yours is better, and they won't even realize that yours is mine.
Yeah.
Because they like it from you. They want to hear from you. There's people that love Grant Cardone. There's people that don't. There's people that love me. There's people that don't. So at the end of the day, I think there's a lot of similarity in sales training.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. There's a lot of basic similarity, but then it changes. Like, how do you explain it? How do you get someone to understand it? But more importantly, can you deliver good content with repetition, practice, and accountability easily and seamlessly? Because if you can't, you're not training, you're exposing people. And exposing people is not training people. Does it work? Yeah, I mean, that's what most companies are out there doing. That's what most people are doing. They're being exposed to good information, and they're picking some shit up, and they're improving their circumstances. But to truly train somebody, like think of a top athlete. You think they do batting practice more than once? You think they learn more than once? There's repetition in any highly elite trained individual or military force or company. So once I discovered that, I made Lightspeed. Lightspeed worked so well, I went out there and sold it, kicked ass. It started working really well, and then I ran into the competition. And that's when I had the shift. I said, I can either compete with these guys or I can collaborate with these guys. And I knew that they were having the same problem I was. So I went to them and I said, look, I know you're out there on the road. I know you're training people live. I know this is happening because I do it and I did it and I know. Look what I did. You should do it too. Let me take my name off and my content out and put yours in. And plus, because I had been gathering people that said they didn't want my training, but they'd buy my system if I had those guys.
Yeah.
So I said, plus, I'll tell you exactly where customers are waiting to buy this from you. So I closed those guys. And then I realized I don't need to be the sales trainer. I'll just help the sales trainers. And then I helped all of the sales trainers. And then it led to helping the companies, the car manufacturers, because people started logging into the system saying, man, this is awesome. Why aren't we doing this with this and this and this? So now we train all kinds of people, you know, health clubs, sales, soft skills, nursing, dental hygienists, all of it. But at the end of the day, it all started for one reason. I saw somebody that worked really hard and they worked their whole life and barely had enough money to buy Christmas presents for their kids. Barely enough money. And I would look that dude in his eyes a lot, and I could see the freaking pain and the shame and the pain really that he couldn't afford to take care of his family the way he wanted to. You know, he just didn't have the money, and plus he had 5 kids. So to me, I just thought to myself, why can this person that's working hard, ethical, doing all the things we're taught to do, all the right things this person's doing, but yet he can barely afford to buy Christmas presents? You know, what's the difference between that person and that person who's making all the money?
Yeah.
The answer is that person knows something that person doesn't. That's it. So why not figure out what that dude knows and tell that dude? And then, you know, virtualize it and systematize it to where now anybody that wants to learn to do that well can do that well. How many companies need employees to do certain things well? Well, let's take this training technology and let's get the knowledge from the people who have it to the people who need it so we can all live in a world where success is more normal. Right now, if you're getting married, people are like, good luck. You know, it's like, you know, people are going to start a business. They're like, you know, good luck. Why does everybody doubt that you're going to succeed when you start a business? Well, because it's hard. Starting a business is hard. Succeeding is hard. It isn't hard. You're making it hard. Success isn't hard. I don't believe success is hard. I don't believe life is hard. But you know, when it boils down to it, Ryan, you know, there's a lot to it, but the perspective one has makes a lot of difference in their life. Especially when it comes to sales too. I mean, you ever buy from a pissed off, grumpy salesperson?
Yeah.
You know, you got to have a good attitude. You got to be able to, you know, build a rapport, you know, establish a relationship, ask intelligent questions so you can learn how to custom build value from that product to that particular person's, you know, wants, likes, and interests, challenges, pain points, things of that nature. So the perspective that one has, I think, is paramount.
Yeah, I remember when we spoke last, you said to me, I think it was a test, and you said, Ryan, tell me where does sales start? Where does the sales start? And I said, preparation. And for us, we've got the same belief system there because it starts in our head, right? It starts upstairs before we even interact with the customer. If you were going back to your day one in sales right now, from a preparation perspective, or with the knowledge that you've got, what do you do day one? You're in a new industry, or your first day in sales. What's the first thing you do?
Well, it kind of depends because, you know, where do I want to make the biggest impact? Because you know, if I could tell myself over, I'd be shaking more hands, making more relationships, meeting more people, asking for more referrals, and I would increase the volume.
Yeah.
I would have sold more just based on that.
Okay.
If I were trying to be more professional or get a promotion quicker, I would have shut my mouth, learned a little bit, and just humbly watched a lot more than I did. I ran out there and, you know, had to learn the hard way. However, you know, I always tell myself, if I were to start sales again, what would I tell myself? And I would tell myself, don't try to sell anything. Try to build a relationship. Because if I build the relationship, I'm going to sell the product, right? And many more. If I don't build the relationship, I might sell the product and not necessarily more. So too many salespeople go after the sale rather than the relationship. And I think nowadays, more than ever, it's about relationships. It's about sincerity, authenticity, transparency. I mean, we got the internet, bro. People know more about your shit than you do in most cases.
Yeah, absolutely.
They've been doing their homework. Be real. You know what I'm saying? Tell the truth. Okay.
That's one thing that you epitomize, right? And for anybody that's listening to this right now, I encourage you to go and search for Brad on Instagram or on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and just watch your content. Because one thing you are is real. And similar to Grant Cardone, similar to some of the other American coaches that maybe try and break into Australia, we're a bit more reserved here. Obviously, I'm English, but I'm living in Australia. There's a bit more of a reserved nature. How do you think the upfront nature translates to Australians? Like we spoke about this last time. It can come across brash. It can come across as very forceful from a sales perspective. Explain from your perspective, what is that? And why do you think we need to either adapt or you need to adapt when you come over here?
Well, if I came over there, I would do the same thing I do here because I build relationships. I'm not trying to sell you anything. So you wouldn't ever feel like I'm trying to close you. You wouldn't feel like I'm being flashy or pushy. You might think I didn't even try to sell you, but you'll want to buy anything I have, I guarantee you. Now, on that same token, Ryan, if I don't have anything that can help you, I actually wouldn't sell you. Why? Because again, selling you something is secondary. Primary is to build a relationship. Yeah. During that relationship, I'm going to find out what problems you're having, what, you know, challenges. And then if my product or service can actually help you, well, then I'm going to obviously, you know, introduce my product to you and close the deal. However, there's a technique to it. There's a technique to build relationships. There's a technique to making introductions. There's techniques to preparation. You were the first person that ever said preparation. I mean, that's what I teach. People say, you know, teach me sales, teach me sales. You know, number one, there's a sales process. There's techniques, and it applies to anything. Doesn't matter if you're selling cars, houses, doesn't matter. And the first one is preparation. Most people miss it. They don't prepare physically. They don't prepare mentally. They don't prepare from a product knowledge standpoint. They don't do investigative work on their competitors. They're not experts.
Yeah.
Right? They're big mouths. They're there poorly trained individuals hoping to say, I say something right and you buy my shit. Like, no. You're doing it wrong. Okay. You want to be a professional. You want to turn it into a career. You want to become a master at what you're doing. Because if the answer is yes, man, there's no limit. You can build an entire business. Okay. You can work for people and build their business. You can write your own ticket anywhere you go. A top professional, unbelievable master salesperson / closer is employable no matter if COVID made us all sit in our homes. That skill set everybody needs to learn. It's the only reason I'm doing 8 figures is my ability to sell, close, and persuade people. Yeah. And the first step is preparation. So I could do a half-day workshop on just preparation.
So give us a couple of them then. So if we talk about our world that we live in right now, obviously we're in the from a digital training perspective, we work with corporate to enterprise type organizations. How do I do research on the decision makers? What preparation should I be doing?
Well, I mean, you've heard of Google, right? Facebook, Instagram. Like, again, I mean, if I'm doing my due diligence, I can look you up, find out what kind of dog you have, find out where you went to school, find out your sports teams, find out if you're married, single, or want to be married or single, find out what your girl's name is or what your guy's name is, depending on, what your orientation is, whether all your hobbies. Like, folks, everybody's business is out on the internet. So to be prepared, you would go and look at every single thing you could find out about the individual. And then that's just the individual. That's just the prospect. Okay. What about the competitor? What about what you're using currently? What do you have now? Why are you looking to replace it? Are you looking to replace it? What's your favorite thing about it? What's the thing you don't like? Your secretary might tell me more information about you. Why don't I send your gatekeeper? I call them gatekeepers. Mine's a gatekeeper. Why don't you call? I would send your gatekeeper some flowers or some donuts. I would start befriending her or him. Why? Well, because they can tell me more about you than even social media can. Is he a grump? Does he when is he in a good mood? Does he come in Mondays pissed, or is he pumped? So how deep a preparation you want to go? Now, what's realistic? What's realistic, man, is before you talk to somebody, you probably want to go online and see who they are.
Yeah.
You want to see what they are from a human being standpoint. Look at their social media. If it's blocked, look around, go to LinkedIn, do your homework. So when I talk to you, I can be like, Ryan, I didn't know you were a freaking Yankees fan. How's a Yankee fan doing over in Australia? Or I would know, oh, he's actually a Brit in Australia.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be like, hey, I love your Australian accent.
Yeah, which has happened, by the way. And at that point, you massively break rapport. And it's funny what you just said there. I talk about getting to their influences, getting to your decision makers' influences as quickly as possible. And I wanted to arrange a meetup with Grant Cardone when he was here in August last year. So my research was based around who's his PA, who's the person that I need to get to, which was Raquel, and sending her flowers and finding out intelligence about his movements. And it works, right? And I think we've just got to be brave enough to put ourselves out there and just ask a question.
You want it? I got a clip. I was talking to him the other day on the phone. I got a clip of Grant Cardone. I want you to hear what he said. Just FYI.
Okay.
You ready? You ready?
I'm ready.
Here we go. Hold on. Here we go. Hold on. Right. Here we go. Now listen. You gotta listen close. That's a good one. Did you hear it?
Did he say, I learn everything from you?
He said, you're the one that taught me that. I've learned everything from you. Then listen what he says right here. You hear what he said?
I missed that last bit. Say it again.
He said, when I listen to you, my life gets better.
Oh, that's nice. That's good. I'm going to save that. I'm going to put that as my own ringtone.
Dude, I text him that every time me and him are getting in an argument or debating on something. I'll text it to him. Remember? I taught you everything you know. Me and him joke because obviously I didn't teach him everything he knows. Okay, Grant's been, succeeding a long time, and he's taught me a lot of shit. But where I was going with that is, dude, you never know who somebody knows. Like there's so many people trying to get to Grant so they can speak on 10X stage, right? When Elena is who you want to get to speak on the 10X stage. Jared is who you want to get to speak on the 10X stage. I am I used to be, I'm not so much anymore, but I would have been a good one to get to get you on the 10X stage. I got Damon John on the stage. I got a lot of people on the stage because of exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
I influenced Grant, or used to more so now, but I influenced him, and nobody would talk to Elena to get to Grant. Nobody would talk to Jared, and nobody would talk to me. They'd go right to Grant, and Grant wasn't listening.
Yeah.
So you're exactly right.
We got to be creative as salespeople, right? Obviously you've done a lot of education, I'm assuming, over the years as well. So who's had the biggest impact on you from a training perspective? Who were or who are your mentors, if you were to class them as a mentor?
Again, I mean, I've learned a lot from all of them. I mean, I learn from my employees. I learn from my 4, 5, and 7-year-olds. So I literally seek knowledge every day. And I learn from Napoleon Hill, Dale Carnegie, Stephen Pressfield. Like, I read and whatnot voraciously. Why? Here's what I believe. Okay. I believe if you want to change what you're getting, you have to change what you're doing. And if you want to change what you're doing, you have to change what you believe, because the reason you do what you do, the choices you make, and all of the things you decide to do in life are based on your beliefs. So if you want to change what you're getting, you got to change what you're doing. If you want to change what you're doing, you got to change what you believe. Now, right now, I have my beliefs. How do you change your mind? The only way to change your mind is to get new information. You could have thought before you talked to me, man, I thought Brad was an arrogant prick. I talked to him, and dude, that guy's the real deal. He just wants to help people. He's not concerned about the money. He's not flashing Rolls Royces and Ferraris all over the internet. Go follow me. You won't see. I mean, yes, you might see me in one once in a while because I'm in one once in a while, but I never show it. I never flash it. Why? Because, dude, if you're gonna follow me because I have a Ferrari, well, then you're following me for the wrong reason. So at the end of the day, if you came to me and said, how do I build influence on social media? That might be a Ferrari. Why? Because believe it or not, a Ferrari on social media gets you followers. It just might be the wrong ones.
Yeah.
Depending on what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
But anyway, I forgot where I was going with that, or I was going somewhere good with it. Damn. What was your question?
With regards to your mentors and who's had the most impact.
Yeah. So I listened to everybody. And so the reason why is because I realized the only way to change my beliefs is to get new information. The reason you change your mind is because you get new information. So every day I wake up looking for new information. So my mentors are massive. They're everywhere. Who's been the biggest impact? It's just hard because I've learned from so many major things. I mean, I don't think I could name one.
And different stages in your life requires different mentors and different education, right? So that might change.
Not only that, it's like, again, dude, most people are not absorbing the information nor seeking it daily. Here's what I would recommend everybody does. Wake up every morning and make sure you do not go to sleep before you do. Well, I technically have this thing called $1 Million Morning. I'll share it with you another time. But one of the things is seek new information. If you wake up and make sure you don't go to bed without seeking at least a little bit of new information, whether it be from a book or a course or a podcast, if you didn't seek new information, you totally missed the opportunity of the day, because you want to change your mind, folks. You want to change your beliefs, because what you believe right now is getting you what you've gotten so far.
Nice. And anybody that's listening right now that has been trained by me, they've been on a boot camp or they've been in the online training, they'll know the exact line that I'm about to say right now. My mantra in life is always go to bed more educated than when you woke up. And that came from, so my background, Brad, just so you know a little bit further, is engineering. I was an engineer for 8 years, and I'd never sold anything before, and no desire to run a business, certainly no ambition to become a salesperson. And when I did fall into the industry in 2010, I was failing miserably. Failed for 3 months. I was 21st out of 21 salespeople. And I got set a challenge for 60 days to study, like you, just to read and absorb as much as I can around sales, negotiation, emotional intelligence, so on and so forth. And I went from 21st to first in 5 weeks. And I never looked back from that spot. And all I realized was I was only doing 15 to 20 minutes worth of education a day. I wasn't overly consuming. I wasn't taking over my life. But that formulated that mantra of always go to bed more educated than when you woke up. But how do you keep that? And this, hopefully this comes across with the utmost respect. I'm 37, you're 51. You've obviously been very, very successful. You've built a tremendous network. How do you keep that drive? How do you keep wanting to learn more?
Well, because I'm not where I want to be. So again, if you want to change what you're getting, and I do, you got to change what you're doing. And the only way to change what you're doing is to change what you believe. And the only way to change what you believe is to get new information. So every day I wake up, I do the $1 million morning. And then part of that is seek new information. The $1 million morning is ultimately a technique that I developed that kind of allows people to really get exponential growth right away. Most people are going to wake up with a negative attitude. Most people are waking up living in the past, thinking about the past, or worried about the future. You know, my car payment's due, I can't pay my rent. They're just not really enthusiastic and optimistic and pumped up. Their perspective is terrible. So the first thing, I call it the $1 million morning, because the first thing I tell people to do is, if I gave you $1 million cash right now, how would you feel? They're like, oh, dude, I'd be fired up. I'd be enthusiastic. I'd be freaking amazed. Okay. Would you rather get $1 million and not wake up tomorrow, or get $1 million or wake up tomorrow? Now, what would you rather get? Most people are like, well, naturally, I'm not going to take $1 million and then not wake up. So I'd rather wake up than get $1 million. Okay. So put that into perspective. You would rather wake up than get $1 million cash. And they would be like, well, obviously. Okay. So we know it's clearly worth more than $1 million to wake up. How come when you open your eyes, you don't get as excited as getting $1 million? You just got a gift worth far more than $1 million. What are you bummed out about? What are you pissed off about? Why are you worried and anxious? Because, dude, listen, if I came to you with a knife or a gun and you thought for sure you're going to die, and you could say, if I could just get out of this, I don't care if my car payment's late. Like, dude, I'd love to have a late car payment. Like, shit, I'd love to drive my shitty car. You know what I mean? Like, in other words, you now appreciate the problems because they're about to be taken away altogether.
Yeah.
So it's just a perspective shift. Wake up in the morning and realize you just got a gift more valuable than $1 million. Soon as you do that, you start to shift your perspective to where now everything's an opportunity. That's the foundation. You have to look at things like an opportunity. Getting to get up and go fix your car and deal with your life's problems is a freaking opportunity. It's not a freaking problem. Okay. So shift your perspective. Now, the 4 things you want to focus on: relationships first. Okay. After you focus, or no, I'm sorry. I take that back. You're getting me excited. First thing you want to focus on is your health. Because if you lose your health, man, I'm telling you, nothing else matters. So the first thing you want to focus on your health, then you focus on your relationships, because that's the new currency. I can trace back every multi-million-dollar deal I've done is to a relationship. Everything boils down to relationships. So you want to work on your relationships, you want to work on your money, and you want to work on your mind. Here's how you do it. These are tactical things you do every single morning. Wake up with the gratitude. That's the $1 million analogy. Then you focus on your health by getting your blood pumping. If you can't afford a gym, bend and thrust, squat, run around the room, push up your own body weight. Like, quit making excuses and get some exercise going. Get your blood pumping. Okay. Minimum 15 minutes, preferably about an hour. Number 2, relationships. Write down 5 people who you want to build a relationship with. Text them a positive email, message, video, whatever the case may be. Tell them you love them, appreciate them, miss them, thank them, whatever. Positive every single day. Number 3, I want you to freaking work on your mind. Number 3 is actually work on your money, which is 5 things that drive revenue every single day. Like, do you wake up every single day and say, what are the 5 things I can do today to drive revenue? Most people, they don't focus on making money. They are actually trained to act like it's not that important. When in reality, I focus on it every single day. I'm writing down 5 things I need to do before I go to bed that drive revenue. That's how I'm doing millions of dollars. I focus on making millions of dollars. You focus on something, it grows. You ignore something, it withers and dies and goes away. You focus on relationships, they grow. You ignore relationships, they go away. So at the end of the day, the last one is the mind. You got to understand one thing. Every morning when you wake up, pick up a book, open a podcast, and seek new information for 15 minutes minimum every day. My morning's about 2 hours. I don't talk to anybody. I don't do the internet. I'm up 100% with the right perspective. I bound out of bed because of my perspective. And then I focus on my health, work out, eat right, at least one meal. Then I focus on relationships. I'll figure out who I'm going to text and talk to that day and thank and send gifts to and whatnot. Then I freaking focus. I write down 5 things that are going to drive revenue today, not this week, not this month, today. Okay. And then I open a book and read it for 15 to 20 minutes minimum. It takes 2 hours. Now, most people say 2 hours. I don't have the time. Yes, you do. Get your fat ass up 2 hours earlier than you do right now. 2 hours earlier, by the way, over the course of a year gives you an extra month in your year.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. If we all had 13 months in a year, it's a game changer, right? But
it's definitely an advantage over the competition.
Yeah. And so last couple of questions then. You said your drive is still there because you're not where you want to be just yet. So where does Brad want to be? Where are we going now?
Well, I need to be in the billionaire status. So I got a long way to go.
Yeah. And you said need, not want. Why is that? Why is that such a burning desire for you?
You know, I set that goal for myself a while back. I think I have the potential to do so. I firmly believe that if you want money, help people. And I know that if I earned $1 billion, it's because I helped 1 billion people.
Nice.
So at the end of the day, man, you want $1 million, help 1 million people. Figure out and solve 1 million problems. I mean, people buy solutions, not products. I'm not buying your product or service because I want your product or service. 9 times out of 10, I'm buying it because I want what it does, which is usually a result. It's a solution to a problem. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so I just know that if I hit the $1 billion status, that I've helped a lot of people, which is, a goal of mine. But it's just, dude, making multiple millions nowadays is not that difficult. With the internet, with digital marketing, like, it's not that difficult. Like, saying you're a millionaire today is like cool. Saying you're a multimillionaire, all right, pretty decent. That's where I'm at now. Earning your 9th figure, now you're starting to freaking step up. Like, dude, you do 9 figures a year. I'm doing 8 figures, getting up to 9 figures. That 9 figures, whole nother level. Okay. Well, dude, $1 billion is 10 figures. That's you hit it out of the park. And dude, I quit playing softball because if you hit a home run, they considered it an out. Whatever league we joined around here, I sponsored a Lightspeed VT softball team thinking, oh, it'll build camaraderie and we'll all go out and do it. I go out there for the first day and I'm swinging for the fences. I crack one, goes over the fence. I'm running around the bases. They're like, you're out. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm out. They call a home run an out. Okay. So I quit, dude. I'm not playing softball or baseball or anything if I can't park that bitch. And I believe the $1 billion status is a home run.
Yeah, nice. I love that. And the reason I wanted to drill down on that is because I've gone through that change, right? I'm not from money. Similar to your background. And what I like about even just this podcast, it still started with the same humility of the story, which was helping people, and it's going to end with the desire to help people. There's the natural byproduct of helping people is that you're going to be a billionaire, and you're going to get a home run, right? For the people out there that struggle with that I want to make money. It's all about having that $1 billion status. I can still be humble and be ambitious, right? They coexist. Do you believe that?
100%.
Yeah.
Because again, look, sometimes let's be real, which I highly recommend you always do. In this particular case, I want to be blunt. Okay. Sometimes 50 grand will help you better than all the advice in the world. There are situations where if I would have just got the money I needed, not some good old advice, I'd be a lot farther than I am today. So obviously There's all kinds of times when this would not apply, but there's going to be times where money is what you need, not advice. Would you agree?
100%.
Okay, so dude, when I have $1 billion, I know that I'll have enough for me and my family and have $900 million left to financially back and support and help people. I don't want to help people. I'm helping a bunch right now just by freaking follow me on social media, dude. I'm telling people, I've got people that making comments on my posts that are like, dude, I'm learning more following you than I've learned in paid courses. And I'm like, and they're like, I can't believe you're giving this information away. I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do? Sell it? Like, dude, this is just shit that I've learned that if everybody learned earlier, they wouldn't make as many mistakes, right? That's my book coming out. It's called The Hard Way. It's lessons I've learned the hard way so you don't have to. What is it? I'm just compiling all the, what would I tell myself if I was 18 again? Right. All of them. And if I could go back and actually implement everything in my book, I'd have been a millionaire by 25, a multimillionaire by 30, and a billionaire by 40. 100%. I'd probably be known worldwide. I'd probably be, like, in other words, man, if you could do it all over, Ryan, how much faster would you arrive?
Yeah, absolutely. I am during COVID, I had a chat with my coach, my public speaking coach, Harry Singer. He works with Tony Robbins, Robert Kiyosaki, and so on and so forth. And he said to me, I had a little 3-day wobble during COVID. Like, I didn't know what to do. This is my first business, never been through this before. And he said, Ryan, write down all your worst case scenario, bankruptcy, you lose everything, you lose the house, you lose the car. And then write down how long it would take you to get back to the position you're in again right now. And I said about 6 to 12 months. So, because I've got 10 years experience, I've got 10 years of no-nos, 10 years of mistakes. So I would have accelerated growth. So highly recommend getting that book. When's that book released?
You can pre-order it at bradlea.com, but it's probably going to take another 30, 45 days to finish up and get out to the hands of the readers.
Yeah.
But Ryan, that's also why you now help people turn around their training and sales organizations, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. This is another thing that I would tell myself younger. Seek counsel. Like, I had to learn everything the hard way. I wasn't smart enough to hire Ryan. I wasn't smart enough to read the book. I wasn't smart enough to listen to the people that have already been there. I had to just go out and think I knew everything. I had to go out and make all the mistakes. Now there's some honor, I guess, in making mistakes and learning it yourself. But dude, it's not the smart way to go. If I could do it over, dude, there's no honor in getting beat up and dragged through the mud. Like, people make fun of rich kids. Dude, I wish my dad gave me $1 billion. Make fun of me all you want.
Yeah, we almost wear it as a badge of honor, don't we? I've earned my stripes. I've done it the hard way, and I've dug my heels in when it was tough. Well, actually, that's not, like I say, it's not the smartest way. There is an easier way out there, and it's getting the education from the people that have been there and done it before.
Dude, if I were Jeff Bezos, I'd sell my position in Amazon. I'm the richest man in the world, and I would spend the rest of my life making other people the richest people in the world. Mm. Like, dude, he's got so much money, he never, ever, ever, ever will go without. Ever, ever. Not his family, nobody. Dude, $178 million or $1 billion
yeah,
at a 6% interest rate means he couldn't spend the interest rate on his money. Even if he gave away like $50 million a month, he could help so many people, dude. Why is he still operating Amazon? Now, again, I'm not questioning him. Good for him. Whatever makes him happy. I know that if I were him, dude, the world would be a better place. And that is why everybody listening should want me to be a billionaire too. I'll make the world a better place, just like Ryan is right now. By the way, you don't have to wait to make the world a better place. I'm not waiting to become a billionaire before I'm starting to be generous. I'm already generous. You don't have to be rich to be generous. You can be generous with time. You can be generous with knowledge. You can be generous no matter what.
Nice. I'm gonna get my production team to drop a bomb right at the end there on that. But mate, thank you so much. Really do appreciate you. I think it goes without saying, people can find you across all of the socials: LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, everything.
Yeah, I don't really mess around with Facebook or anything. Instagram, if you want to DM me and talk to me, that's me in the DM. No one answers it for me. So I would say Instagram, the real Brad Lea. Of course, you can find me on LinkedIn, Facebook, the rest of them, but I'll check messages there. Instagram's where I'm flipping through and talking to people.
Yeah, nice. And definitely follow Brad's content if you do want some truth bombs on a daily basis. Mate, thank you so much again. And for everybody listening, we'll see you on the next episode of The Swiss Show. Enjoy the rest of your day.